The world's 107 million migrant workers will play an increasingly important role in global economics as workers follow the money and the job opportunities. But in a recession, they face a life of mounting insecurity. In Warsaw, the Polish capital, baby Maya now occupies most of her father's time. Zbyszek Lukasiak had a good job working abroad in IT, first in Germany, then in the UK.
I thought I can, try working abroad, try the life there.
His partner, though, wanted them to bring up their child with the help of the wider family, and he came home to Warsaw. Worldwide, there's been no mass return of migrants during the recession, though in some countries the number leaving home recently has halved. But Poland has seen a significant return. Of the 700,000 who left for the UK, about 200,000 have gone home. The economy has done better than most of Eastern Europe, and unemployment has risen in the UK. But in Poland, opportunities are still limited.
I used to buy the newspaper, the Polish newspaper, that in the past it had all the adverts for jobs. But now I have noticed that actually there's nothing interesting now. I'm a bit specialized, and unfortunately in Poland my specialization is not so popular.
So his partner Dorota, the less qualified of the couple, is now the breadwinner, in a country where family roles still usually take on a traditional pattern. The Lukasiak family helps to illustrate why, despite the large numbers returning home, the Polish population in the UK is still significant. Migration patterns have been circular. Polish migrants keep making the relatively short journey.
Przeprowadzka do Londynu. Gdyby to było konieczne, to myślę, że byśmy wyjechali. Ja bym to traktowała jako nowe doświadczenie życiowe, jakąś nową przygodę. Natomiast nie rozpatrywałam tego w kategoriach wyjazdu na dłuższy okres czasu.
If they opt to rejoin the migrant community, there are no guarantees it won't be tough. Swindon in the southwest of Britain has begun to see an upturn in its economic fortunes. After a steep rise across Britain a year ago, unemployment has fallen in the town for 2 consecutive months. But some of the migrants, who constitute 10% of Swindon's population, have detected a ripple of hostility.
Even in the music industry, this day and age, when I go and I'm looking for a gig, I can go to the barman and ask him, have you got any, as a musician, can I have a couple of gigs here? The first thing they'll look at you and they'll say, no, we haven't got any gigs, we are booked for the rest of the year. But if somebody else goes, a friend of mine goes there and asks the same question, they will give him a booking, but they won't give me a booking.
Unemployment has sometimes been blamed on the town's migrant communities, especially the recent EU arrivals, who can come without a firm job offer and undercut the going rate for the job.
I think the difficult thing is we're in a recession now, and we're faced with the unskilled migrant workers that are coming across, and possibly that's causing some problems.
Because
taking jobs, aren't they?
I think it's quite harsh, because I've tried really hard to look for a job and I can't get one, but then I still see people who are coming in and getting the jobs that I would have applied for.
But some see the positive aspect.
Well, there's some certain jobs that Brits won't touch, especially with minimum pay. So you need the migrant workers to do it, don't you?
It's not true that there are a fixed number of jobs in the country, and that if 10,000 migrants come, there'll be 10,000 fewer jobs for British people, because when migrants arrive, they're also consumers, they expand demand in the economy. Maybe they're filling jobs which were previously vacant because employers couldn't find the people. Maybe they're allowing employers to expand. That said, in some particular local areas, in some sectors, and particularly in the short term, while the economy adjusts, there may be some problems.
Research into the effects of the recession on migrants around the world suggests that most haven't suffered a hostile backlash.
there is a tendency to a we and they reaction. Now, in that reaction, as we know, there's a segment of the population that does have xenophobic and racist reactions. We've seen that in elections throughout Europe, for example. But I don't believe that that's the majority. I think that the majority understand that the migrants perform a certain function in society, and whether they're high-skilled or lower-skilled, and they can live with that. It's the crisis situation that makes the thing much more tense.
The recession has had a considerable effect on the amount of money migrants send home from abroad. Remittances worldwide are down between 8 and 10%.
For the recent immigrants, it is important because very often, not very often, but sometimes they have left their wives and children behind. In other instances, they have aged parents or relatives they feel the need to support. And remittances do play an important role in this.
The country which has suffered one of the steepest declines in remittances is Poland. The exchange rate has hammered the value of foreign earnings. But there is a view that, in any case, savings sent back might not produce any permanent improvement in the home economy.
Migration has been an important source of income. On the other hand, in many cases, it's very difficult to translate those remittances into investments back in the home country. And so the remittances get used for supporting consumption, but not helping create a viable domestic economy.
Countries of origin also face losses in social terms. A privately funded organisation called Stay With Us has offered money to induce some of the brightest potential migrants not to leave. So concerned are its members about the long-term effect on Polish society.
Consequences of these problems you will see probably in the future, not immediately at the moment. So we do have problems with children who are in a way abandoned here, whose parents are working abroad. And we also have problem with older people who are not taken care of here at home because their children or grandsons, granddaughters went abroad.
Migrants themselves may be acutely aware of the problems back home. But for now, the evidence suggests that they're not going back in large numbers worldwide. Their countries of origin may be too distant, or the investment in their new lives too great to abandon.
They have done a lot to come here, and to go back, it will be difficult for them to start afresh. They are just helping one another and hoping that things will improve.
Alistair de Mello is a second-generation Goan in Swindon, Angelo's son. He hasn't been able to start building his ideal career yet, but in the meantime, he's been rebuilding his ideal car, a Calibra.
It was the fastest accelerating streetcar built till 1999. I wouldn't want to part with it. Yeah, probably sleep in it.
He has dreams of a job in computer animation, but not in India. Goa only features as a holiday destination.
I'm sure I would have preferred it if I actually was born there and I was used to the culture and that. But because I'm from here and I was born here and that, I've learnt like a lot more than I think I could have learnt there.
With families settled and integrated in the host country, the older generation has nothing to gain either by returning to the country of origin.
I've lived here for a quarter of a century now. So I've lived more of my life here than anywhere else.
Amen. The older Polish migrants have put down deep roots in the UK too. Their homeland still tugs at their heartstrings, but the new Poland is alien to them, and going back permanently isn't an option.
It's beautiful, it's lovely, and it does sort of make your heart twinge, but if we went there now, I don't think I could.
However, the community is keen for the young generation to retain some of its cultural heritage, to balance the Polish and the English.
We are the lucky people. If we want Polish food, we have Polish food. If we want English food, we got English food. If we want English friends, we got Polish friends. But it's a mixture of everything. So we're the lucky ones.
Whatever the migrants' considerations, Western Europe's ageing populations need a supply of young workers. The new arrivals, Anna and Mariusz Głód, will stay in Swindon for now, enjoying their life together and the freedom of living abroad.
Because now we're expecting our baby, so we have to decide when baby will grow up. So we have to decide if you would want to stay here or come back to Poland. Because of the school, everything. So we have to think about it.
Migrants have had a long history in Britain of filling skills gaps, of bringing new ideas and bringing a spirit of enterprise and innovation, and frankly of doing the jobs which maybe British people don't want to do. And I think that's been true in recent years, and it's still true even during the recession.
They produce, they also, so not only do they, by their demand, they increase production and therefore output, so they contribute to growth, they also contribute to the creation of employment.
The question for migrants is, how long will the recession last?
The recovery processes are different. The crisis is much stronger in the developed world than in countries like China or India or Brazil or others. So that this also is performing a sort of a function of keeping people at home, because they don't see that the possibilities where they used to go and where they hope that they would have a better life are that certain.
Migration's increasingly significant in the globalized economy. By 2010, the world's migrant population will number 214 million, or 3%. They move when the economy booms and needs them. When times are tough, the majority of migrants, or would-be migrants, hunker down and stay where they are, awaiting the upturn. When the recession is over, migrants will be on the move again.